What is going on? It's been a while since I've seen you guys. It is Fred Whitaker here with the Red Chair Reviews. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's one of my favorite days. Well, it feels like there's like 7 of them now every year. Now they've got multiple drops. But it was Record Store Day, 2021, yesterday, June 12th. And so my lovely wife and I went down and stood in line at the Record Connection in Niles, Ohio, which is where we always go. My friend Jeff has been running his business there for a long time. I've been going to that record store since I was like 13 years old. It's been over 30 years now, pretty much. So, and I like to go to Record Store Day. I think it's a good thing. I know that there's a lot of like over presses and they're really churning out a lot of things, but I still get excited about Record Store Day. These multiple drops have me getting up early 5-6 times a year. Don't love that, but I'm still going and waiting. And a lot of people, unfortunately, are buying these and flipping them. I did not flip them. These are all things I wanted and I bought and I'm going to keep. So, how was my haul? Let's check it out. First, I've got this 7-inch from Integrity, who's I think based out of like Belgium or something, but they're from Cleveland originally. This is a 2-song, it has Orgasmatron and Cradle to the Grave. The really cool thing about this, I was just looking at the back of it, it's recorded by Bill Korecki at Mars Recording, legendary Cleveland area recording studio. My own band, Kitchen Knife Conspiracy, recorded our second album, Handicapitated, in 2000 with Bill Korecki. And so, you know, this is kind of cool that this was also recorded there. So I was excited to get a hold of that. I'm stoked to check it out. Always like Integrity. They always deliver the hardcore deliciousness you need. Next, we have the Deftones here with a 45, 12-inch 45 of a couple remixes from the White Pony era. You know, there's I think there's like 13,000 of these or something like that. So there's a lot of these floating around. I don't think this is going to be a rarity or anything, but it's Deftones. And it was there, so I had to get it. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. I really have enjoyed the Deluxe White Pony edition. Definitely my favorite Deftones album, White Pony, and the expanded edition, all the remixes are really cool. So this is kind of a part of that foray that they're doing right now. Next, we have Pinata 1984 with Freddie, Gibbs, and MADLIB. I loved Pinata, the original album by these two. And any time that MADLIB and Freddie Gibbs get together, I get really excited. They just kind of like have been doing like re-instrumentation and remixes and revisions of Pinata here. They did one, I think, for maybe 1974 was the last Record Store Day. Got that. So I feel like I'm into it now. I'm kind of committed. So I did get this 1984 version. And it's pretty much the full album on here, so I'm looking forward to kind of giving this a spin and checking it out. Really was happy to get this. I know this one's kind of hard to snag as well, so the 1984 version of Pinata. I gotta be truthful, I probably wouldn't have bought this Neon Christ album if it didn't have William Duvall from Alice in Chains involved. This is kind of like an old school punk kind of recording. I've listened to a few tracks off of it that I found floating around online. Sound quality wasn't great, but I know that they supposed to remastered it and put this out. There's 1,500 of these, and I think Will and the band played like a live show in Chicago or something yesterday for the release of this. Saw some pictures of him floating around there, so that's pretty cool. I'm glad to see William kind of digging back, and now that he's been in Alice in Chains for over a decade, just see him digging back in what he used to do before that, and kind of sharing with the fans. So this is kind of one my wife really wanted me to get because she's such a huge fan of Will and everything he's doing. So this Neon Christ will be a cool listen. I'm sure it'll be pretty extreme and probably a little low in quality, sound quality, but the pressing itself is heavy and beautiful. So it's a great pressing of this. So I'll check it out. This pressing is really cool because, I mean, it's just a live show from Mexico City by Rage Against the Machine. I'm not somebody who needs to own everything that Rage does, but I'm pretty stoked about this. It's really cool because the vinyl is like green and red with a white label, so kind of like a tribute to Mexico there. It testifies on here, Calm Like a Bomb, Know Your Enemy, Bomb Track, live versions of those all on here. And I'm sure I know this is one that a lot of people want to get their hands on. And it's just really cool to see Rage kind of still putting out stuff, staying relevant, even though they've been waiting for this tour to kind of get going, that they've been delaying because of our COVID situation. But this will be a cool listen, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll sound great, no doubt. Tears for Fears, I mean, besides songs from the Big Chair, I never really dug way into Tears for Fears' back catalog, but this is a live recording from Canada in 1985. The sound quality from what I've heard is excellent. I think there's like 1,500 of these maybe. And it's just really a cool pressing that I had to get my hands on. I like what Tears for Fears does. I have a few of the albums. Songs for the Big Chair for me was kind of like their peak and pinnacle. But I want to see how these kind of like translate into how these translate in the live version. That should be interesting to see. Even though the show is from, it's a long time ago, 1985. I'm still looking forward to seeing it and how they pulled it off live. I know that they were always professionals and very, very solid performers, so stoked to hear it. Next, we have Prince's The Truth, an acoustic. It says here it's an acoustic charged collection. I'm a little hesitant about all the Prince releases because, you know, now that he's unfortunately gone, his estate has been left in the hands of you know, people that are putting out a lot of things, and maybe stuff that he didn't always intend to be put out. But this press of The Truth would be good. I like his stripped back acoustic stuff. I love the piano thing they released a few years ago from one of his performances from the late '80s. So this would be cool to check out. And you know, I'm a little worried about all the Prince stuff. When are we going to start getting to a point where the quality is so low he would have never wanted it to be heard? But this looks like this is going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to checking out. Welcome to the Dawn, the acoustic version. Really stoked about that one that ends this record too. That'll be cool. Next we have the pressing of the 25th anniversary pressing, the Alkaline Trio from Here to Infirmary. This is a red and black splatter vinyl. And I don't have much Alkaline Trio on vinyl. They put out a box set a few years ago, which is outlandishly priced now. If you want to get a copy of that, I think it's like $500, $600, something like that. So I'm hoping they just keep releasing solo versions of these albums so I can just snag them all eventually. This is a band that I really enjoy. There was a girl, Sarah, who got me into these guys years ago, probably 2002, 2001. And so I've really kind of enjoyed them over the years. And I think this is one of their better albums as well. So I think it's a really complete album. Mr. Chainsaw is one of my favorites. Crawl, just a Private Eye is excellent, great album starter. So this would be cool to check this out. I want to see how it sounds on vinyl 25 years later. Stoked to have it. Okay, this next one might surprise some people, but I want to see if she can pull it off live. I want to see. Pop, Ariana Grande. Can she pull these off live? I've heard a couple live tracks. I think the girl has a really good voice. There's a lot of artists now where you can hear, if you listen to the album, you could hear the auto-tuning. And I don't hear that from her. I think she has a very solid and diverse, wide-ranging voice. And so I'm excited to hear what she can do live. These are all live tracks from one of her recent tours. And of course it ends with Thank You Next, live on side 6. Really thick pressing. I know there's not a bunch of these. It had a decent sized pressing, but for as many fans she has, it's not really easy to get a hold of. And already, of course, because of all people flipping things, you know, this is already tripled in price on eBay. So I'm really happy to have gotten it for the regular price, the retail price. And yeah, okay, bye for now. And last but certainly not least, the thing I was probably most excited about, besides the Alkaline Trio pressing, was this Regimental Sergeant Zippo, which was possibly going to be Elton John's first album. The label, I don't believe, said that he could go through with it. So it never really saw the light of day officially in its full version until now. And according to Elton and his people, this is the only way this is ever going to be pressed. I think there was like 13,000 copies, so that's a lot. But once again, for Elton John, 13,000 is not really a lot. So I did hear a couple tracks. You know, that he kind of had a teaser on Facebook, his Facebook story, so I was checking that out. And he had a piece of it in The Clock Goes Around, which Anita sounded pretty cool. So yeah, I feel like there's probably a reason this was never released officially. But I think when you get to be Elton's age and he's kind of digging back, he did those jewel box sets. He's doing a lot of rarities releases, so I think it's just part of that process. But I'm looking forward to hearing it, man. Anything from Elton, early Elton, I want to hear. His band was so good. I'm sure even here, they were great players. He was working with Bernie Taupin on this stuff, so I'm sure the lyrics will be intriguing and engaging. So yeah, looking forward to giving Regimental Sergeant Zippo a spin. This was kind of like one of the things I was most stoked about, so happy to have it here. And that's it. That's all I got for Record Store Day 2021. What did you get? Did you go to Record Store Day? What kind of things did you pick up? Tell me. What things are you excited about? Is there anything here that I bought that you think I'm going to be terribly disappointed in? Or is there something that you think I should be really stoked about and spin it right now? Please like, subscribe, hit the bell as well, comment. I'm happy to have you guys here, and I'd love to keep kind of bringing out some content. Next coming up, we're going to have a review of Van Weezer. I'll tell you how I feel about that album. I got a vinyl, neon purple vinyl I'll talk about for that, and tell you what I think of the album. And that'll be coming up the next day or two. And then also I have a really big countdown coming up. I'll tell you some details about that with a giveaway. So be watching, subscribe, like. That's the only way you can be a part of this. Glad to have you guys once again. Record Store Day 2021. Peace.